The Pentagon inspector general tells us that many who worked with Ronny Jackson, the former Trump White House physician and now a member of Congress from Texas, think that he was a tyrant and a dictator prone to yelling, screaming, cursing, and belittling subordinates. Witnesses say that he suffered meltdowns and tantrums and made sexual and degrading comments about female subordinates, even though he denies these allegations. Um, Trump called this man one of the finest people that he's ever met, and then similar accusations scuttled his attempt to make Jackson his Veterans Administration chief. So he created a new job for him, assistant to the president to the squatter and chief medical advisor. As with so many chapters in the Trump saga, the tale of Ronny Jackson illustrates the strange way that the former squatter either attracts people, especially men, who share his bullying and deceptive ways, or shapes them to fit the mold. Um, a year ago, Jackson said that once he declaimed on the former squatter's health status before the national media, he says, "I got the Trump stamp on me completely and not in a good way. The association would end up serving him well just the same." Jackson, who had served as a White House physician for Barack Obama, had gained national attention on Donald Trump's devoted support in 2018 when he lied and said that Trump was an excellent help, despite Trump being a fat ass, and because of his good genes, and Trump doesn't have any good genes. Jackson did not mention test results indicating heart disease and downplayed sleep habits that would make anyone chronically exhausted. Um, Trump has a very unique ability to just get up in the morning and reset, said Jackson. Yeah, bullshit. With the healthy diet, I don't think eating fast food's healthy, you fucking idiot. And Trump won't live to be 200. He'll be lucky if he lives to be 75 or 76. With his performance in the White House press room, Jackson guaranteed himself a place next to Harold Bornstein, the MD in the hack Trump Doctor Hall of Fame. Bornstein, you might recall, signed his name to a letter that he said Trump had dictated, declaring his patient would be the healthiest individual ever elected to the squadron, and Trump isn't the healthiest person. So, but Bornstein wasn't accused of the alleged toxic behavior that the Inspector General reported about Jackson after reviewing documents and interviewing 78 witnesses. In a statement to CNN on Tuesday, Jackson claimed the report was politically motivated and that the Inspector General resurrected old allegations against him because he refused to turn my back on the squatter Donald Trump, who was a vocal supporter of his 2020 congressional bid. He also told CNN he rejects any allegation that he consumed alcohol while on duty, which wouldn't surprise me if he did, but, you know. The IG probe, which began in 2018, uncovered problems far more serious than the goofball claims that Trump is a human specimen who could defy medical science on things like diet and exercise. But Trump doesn't exercise and he doesn't do any dieting. So, according to the IG, witnesses allege that Jackson broke rules by drinking alcohol on the scrotal trips and taking prescriptions. And basically, he took prescription sleeping pills that could have impaired his responsibility or take care of the squatter. Um, the Obama administration. Sorry, skipped a whole line there. In the reports, witnesses on a presidential trip to the Philippines during the Obama administration had described Jackson's alleged behavior of heavy drinking and mistreatment of subordinates, with one witness saying he made a sexually inappropriate comment. Though concerning, the reported incidents involving alcohol and pills were not as widely noted as the allegations of Jackson's abusive behavior as a leader. Out of 60 people who spoke to the IG about Jackson's leadership, only 13 shared positive comments. Another 38 offered accounts of unprofessional conduct. One person said Jackson established a workplace where fear and intimidation were kind of the hallmarks of him, his command and control of his subordinates, and this should all sound familiar. But fear figures so prominently in Donald Trump's leadership style that Bob Woodward titled his 2018 bestseller about the 45th squatter, "Fear: Trump in the White House." Yep, I own and stuff like that. In his account of his years as Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen described a bully, a con, and a cheat who would insult his own children. In light of what Cohen and Bob Woodward had to say about their subject, the IG report about Jackson suggests he was just the type of person that Trump had in mind when he said in 2016 that he would surround himself with only the best people, yeah, rednecks and bullies. In office, Trump then presided over an administration that was racked by scandals, many of which were caused by the behavior of the best people that he supposedly said he would hire. Turnover occurred at an astonishingly high rate, as high-level appointees ran into ethics scandals, but Jackson's stock rose, and he showed that he was willing to shamelessly spin the press just like his boss did. In February of 2018, Trump had appointed Jackson to replace the head of the VA, who had himself been felled by a scandal. 2 months later, Jackson withdrew from consideration amid allegations of misbehavior, which he termed as completely false and fabricated, which more than likely they're not. And those allegations closely resemble the charges detailed in the new IG report. And these are all false allegations. And which means that they're not. This is what Cheeto had told Foe in a phone call at the time, that there's no proof of this. He's got a beautiful record. Yeah. By you saying that there's no proof, then more than likely they got proof. Last year, in true Trumpian fashion, Jackson would trade on his relationship with the squatter as he campaigned for his new job representing Texas's 13th district, and Trump did not actively campaign for him, but he had privately urged him to run, and Trump's allies and aides pitched him to get elected, according to a report in the New York Times that the Pentagon Inspector General is to be believed. Jackson didn't have to work too hard to gain that kind of approval from Trump. He proved himself to be a Trump man with all the yelling, screaming, cursing, and belittling others that was said of his leadership style. But Trump's version of leadership wore thin with the voters who, after a single term, bounced him out of office by a decisive 7 million votes. Like Trump, Jackson won his first elective office, but not on the basis of his political experience, but while spreading conspiratorial claims about Barack Obama and the deep state. Now, as scandal looms, Jackson insists he's being subjected to a hit job. Remember, the IG report interviewed 78 people. The report was hardly cooked up, but Trump tried the same thing, complaining of witch hunts as the scandals piled up one upon the other. If he likes his job in Congress, Jackson might reconsider that approach, but just look at how it worked out for the man now known as the former squatter in the White House.